For me, the best thing, and I haven't played very big shows as of yet in my career, but the number one thing that is really awesome is at a show playing to lots of different people who have either seen you before or never seen you before, and bringing those people together from all different walks of life, from all different perspectives and everything, and they're all there on that night with the same thing at heart, which is to watch music and sing along if they know songs or just share that joy. So that's definitely my favourite thing that brings the most joy for me. For me, every person I've ever opened up to about my mental health has always been supportive. I know that's not the case for everyone, but for me it's always been a joyful experience opening up about my mental health. And for me, not everybody fully understands what's going on, but everybody does their absolute best to try and understand and to be supportive. And I think because I've been sort of openly discussing my mental health since I was really young, it's just something that has always felt fairly natural to me and has always been sort of accepted by the people around me. And music does help. I do write things. When I start off a song, for example, I might be in one headspace, but usually it'll end up being a positive headspace by the end of it. And listening to music as well is obviously something that helps. But I think sort of mindfulness and really diving into what it is that is making you feel that way is sort of more important for me, and also talking to people around me and getting that support. But the few artists that really stand out for me are Ben Howard. His Every Kingdom album is pretty much perfection in my eyes. It's stripped back, it's all about the song, it's all about the lyrics. It's just really down to earth and sort of not too cryptic in its lyrics, but enough that asks questions from the listener. The other one is John Mayer. He truly inspired me after hearing Continuum first, and then as he sort of went down a path of rock stardom early on, then he sort of dropped off the radar, and then his Born and Raised and Paradise Valley albums coming back out of that were really inspirational for me as well. And so many other inspiring artists. Pretty much every week I spend my time on a Friday going through and looking at all the new stuff. I love listening to stuff that has already been released and is well known and things like that. But discovering that new song is something I really enjoy and pride myself on discovering and seeing if I can pick the song that's going to be most popular from that artist. So I sort of just jump around with all different sorts of things, but mainly within that sort of folk, acoustic, little bit of rock and pop, but not a whole lot sort of genre. Achievement. That's tough because I don't think I've achieved anything too substantial in music as of yet. I think my greatest achievement is the bus. I think the bus that I converted with my girlfriend Jacqueline, and we live in that full time. And it's a little oasis, Kipsy the Bus. If anyone's interested, at Kipsy the Bus on Instagram, have a look. And yeah, it's an inspirational space. It's a safe space, and I think that and my relationship are the two biggest or greatest achievements. But musically, it's hard to know. I haven't really achieved what I've set out to achieve as yet. I think every little step is a great achievement. And yeah. For me, it's Billy Otto. We crossed paths a couple of times before getting into the studio together, and he's sort of taken my music and just added experience. He might only look 15, but he's, over 30, and he's just done it all. He knows things that I wouldn't have even thought of, and he's basically done a journey similar to mine before me, so he's a little bit of a guiding light, I guess. I think he is loved by everyone because he just has this way of connecting with people who he may have never met before, but makes him feel like his best friend. And yeah, so I've really enjoyed working with him, and I think he deserves all the success that comes to him, and particularly with his producing for other artists. I think he's done a really wonderful job on a number of different projects. Dogs or cat person? I'm an animal person. Being a vegan, I just can't stress how important animals are in my life. I choose to care for them and love them as equal beings, and don't eat them, obviously. But if I had to choose between cats and dogs, it would actually be cats. I grew up with a cat. I've got 3 cats in the house at the moment where I'm staying during isolation, and they're not mine necessarily, but I'm more than happy to cuddle them. And I like the independence of cats. I like that they're not fully reliant on us, and we're kind of more dependent on them and their moods. I kind of like that. It's very independent. Jacqueline's trying to change that perspective though and move me more to the dog side of things, but to be honest, I've never really owned a dog who's a real dog. I've got a dog who's an Italian greyhound, and he thinks he's a cat, so he's just an extension of the cat thing for me. And the last question is favourite go-to movie. Now this is interesting because I don't necessarily have a go-to movie that I go back and watch. I'm sort of always looking for something a little bit different. TV shows, I have some staples. The Office, Parks and Recreation, things like that, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, all hilarious. But then also stuff like Billions and Ozarks. So I do more the TV show thing. However, favourite movie at the moment, I just watched 7 Years in Tibet with Brad Pitt in it, and it was really interesting because it sort of follows along that Tibetan Buddhism path, and I've been doing a lot of research about that sort of thing, and about mindfulness in general. So it sort of clicked with where I'm at in my life, and the journeys that he was on were quite interesting to me, basically. Yeah, so I think that's about it. That's all I've got. 8.5 minutes, smashed it out. Thank you very much, Sarah, for putting this together. I think you're doing it with a bunch of other artists as well. It's a really good way to spread music and the message behind music during a time when there's not a whole lot of live music to access. And being the queen of live music, I'm sure that's touching you just as much as it's affecting the rest of us performers. And yeah, I think it's a good time to look at your own workings, your inner workings, your mental health, what it is you want to be doing. And I think it's a really good time for people to watch things like this, see how other people think, and try and adapt different things into their life